All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one little word that might be completely torpedoing your potential. It's a word you use like it's a credit card, right? You just charge your biggest goals to some future version of yourself, a person who, let's be honest, doesn't even exist yet. And that word? It's later.
And this, right here, just nails it. We treat the word later like it's free, like there's no consequence. But it's not. It is absolutely a form of debt that will come due. And the interest rate? The interest rate is regret. And believe me, it compounds fast. So today, we're going to calculate that cost.
Seriously, I want you to sit with that for a second. How many times, this isn't just about some silly New Year's resolution, it's about the daily promises that we break to ourselves. It becomes a habit, a pattern, and today we're going to drag that pattern into the light so we can finally break it.
So why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Why do we put things off? Well, it almost always comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful myth. This idea that we have to feel ready before we can even start. And here is the absolute brutal truth of it. Ready is a fantasy. It doesn't exist. It's the permission slip we write ourselves to stay exactly where we are, right in our comfort zone. We tell ourselves we're just being cautious, but really, we're just choosing to wait. And waiting is not a neutral act. See, here's the crazy part. Waiting doesn't make things easier. It doesn't make them less scary. It does the exact opposite. The longer you just stare at a problem without doing anything, the bigger and more monstrous it gets in your mind. The only antidote, the only cure, is action. Any action. You don't have to be great to start, but you absolutely have to start to ever be great. Okay, so when you pay with that later credit card, what are you actually buying? Let's break down the 3 hidden costs that are just quietly draining the life out of your future. First up is something called decision lag. Think of this as the gap in execution speed between regular people and the ones who really crush it. It's not about being smarter, not at all. It's about being faster. It's about shrinking that time between having a thought and taking an action to basically zero. Just look at this breakdown. It's wild. So the waiter, the average person, takes maybe a week to mull over a decision. That's about 4 meaningful moves a month. Okay, but the doer? The person who decides in a day, they've already made 30 moves. The difference in momentum is it's staggering. 7 times faster. Think about that. The doer is literally moving 7 times faster. This isn't just a small edge. It is a massive geometric advantage. You stretch that out over a year, over a decade, and that gap becomes a chasm you can never, ever cross. All right, the second cost is what I call the anxiety tax. You know that feeling? It's that low-grade, constant hum of stress from all the things you know you should be doing. It's exactly like having way too many apps open on your phone. It just destroys your battery, even when you're not really using them. And this is what that mental clutter looks like, right? Every single one of these unfinished tasks is a heavy weight your brain is forced to carry around all day. That tough conversation you're avoiding, that project that's overdue, that workout you skipped, all of it is stealing your focus and your energy until you finally deal with it. And that brings us to the third and honestly the most brutal cost of all, the slow, corrosive decay of your self-trust. See, your identity, it's not what you think or what you say you're going to do. It's built brick by brick from the tiny decisions you make every single day. Every time a disconnect like this happens, a promise you make to yourself and then a promise you break, you are teaching yourself on a deep level not to trust the person in the mirror. You slowly become an imposter in your own life because the person you say you are and the person your actions show you to be are 2 totally different people. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. We know what it cost us. Now, how do we fix it? How in the world do you take on those massive, intimidating goals you've been putting off forever? The solution is actually pretty simple. You have to learn how to slay dragons. So, what's a dragon? It's any goal that's so big, so intimidating, that it just paralyzes you with fear. You know, starting a business, writing a book, getting in the best shape of your life, we just stare at this massive dragon and it's so overwhelming that we do nothing. Now, here's a secret. You don't fight the dragon at full size. That's a losing battle. First, you just identify it, name it. Then you shrink it. You shrink it way, way down to something that seems almost ridiculously manageable. And finally, you take one step that is so small, so simple, it almost feels shameful. You can't run a mile? Fine. Walk to the end of the block. Can't write a whole chapter? Write 1 sentence. That's it. The only goal is to start moving. So this is your moment, right now. You can stop negotiating with that old version of yourself, you can stop paying the insane cost of later, and you can start your own uphill climb. When you boil it all down, this is the entire point. This life, it's not a dress rehearsal. We get one shot. You can either choose to have a life full of action and memories, or a life full of potential and dreams. That choice is yours, and it's a choice you make today. So I'm going to leave you with this one final challenge. Stop talking about what you're going to do. The world does not care about your plans. It doesn't care about your intentions. It only rewards what you finish. So pick your dragon, shrink it down, and take that one shameful step. And start your climb. Don't tell me about it. Show me.